All right, cello students, we're on pages 24 and 25 today, working on the performance section of the book. So y'all may want to kind of spread this video out over the next couple of weeks and really practice each thing slowly and very carefully. This lesson is kind of an overview of what things will kind of sound like after you've really worked hard. So starting off, it's a scale warm-up. Now, the scale warm-up you want to do each day before your practice. Okay, so this is the new way to play your scale, 2 notes each, and then some eighth notes there at the end, at the beginning when we go up, and then towards the end as well. So I'm going to show you all that real quick, starting on open D. Okay, so practice that very slowly. That tempo that I just played at would be considered your performance tempo. So make sure that you play it slow enough that you're working on getting each finger in tune and all of that. Play at a tempo that is good for you and your level. Okay, exercise 88. You may see that it says this is a round. Now, if you don't know what a round is in music, it's when you have one group playing one thing, and then when that group gets to a certain point, the second group starts again at the very beginning, or starts for the first time at the very beginning, sorry, and then it kind of overlaps and has an interesting effect. So it's just me, so I can't demonstrate the overlapping effect, but I can show you the song and where the second person would start. If you have a friend that's playing cello, maybe you guys can try this out together. So you'll see the number 1 in a little circle at the very beginning. That's when the first person or the first group of people start the song. Then 4 measures later, you'll see the number 2 in a little circle. When the first group gets to that measure, that's when the second group will start at the very beginning, and it will overlap and have a cool sound to it. So I'll show you guys the song though. Something you want to watch for is those repeat signs. Okay, that's going to be on a lot of these. So make sure you play them twice. If you don't play them twice, you won't be getting enough practice. And for some songs, you won't be playing them with the correct number of measures if you don't do the repeats. So make sure you do the repeats, no skipping. All right, you have a little theory box here explaining chords and harmony. And that kind of goes into our next song. Exercise 89 is an American fiddle tune. And this is there's a part A and then there's a part B. Now the part A is what we call the melody. That's the part that someone might sing, or that you might hear the violinist play, or something like that, the melody. And then usually the higher part. And then the line B, labeled B, is the harmony. That's like the alto part if you're in choir, or maybe the bass part in a choir. So it's what's backing up and filling in, going along with the melody. So that's what we call the harmony. So the harmony is super easy. Y'all may want to work on the harmony first, because all it is a rhythm on the open E. I'll show you guys the rhythm here. So it's long, short, short, long, short, short, like this. Like that. Long, short, short, long, short, short. Okay? Now, what you may need to do to practice that is to do it super slow. Like that. My bow needs a little bit of rosin, so it's a little bit scratchy sounding today, but no worries. Okay, so for the melody, it's going to keep that same rhythm, this rhythm here. That one is going to be the same rhythm. We're just going to be adding in notes here. So here's how the song goes on the melody. So this is the A sections. Rest, repeat. So work on that carefully. Now later on, when you're in book 2, you'll learn how to do double stops. And that's playing 2 strings at once while your fingers are playing as well, like this. Now, this song is not exactly the best for that. It's a good exercise for double stops, but normally when you're playing an open string with your melody, it sounds better if it's a lower tone. However, because we're in the key of D, we need the A, and this is a G. So unless we were playing this A over here and then doing fingers over here, making it much more advanced, probably not the best thing for you guys, but it is a fun exercise. It's kind of hard though to get this string, the D string notes, to be loud without crunching the A string. It's very, very challenging. So if y'all try that out, be careful with it, because you'll need lots of arm pressure to get both strings sounding at once, okay? But the D string will not sound if you don't give enough pressure, and the A string too much pressure, and you'll start some scratch in there. So there's a happy in between, so y'all work with that, see what happens. But you don't have to work on it with double stops until book 2. When we're in book 2, we'll kind of revisit that. All right, so let's take a look at page 25. We're going to do the English round now. This one is also the same as I showed y'all in exercise 88. So it's the same pattern. The first group starts, second group starts when the first group gets to that 2 number. So I'll play this for you guys. It's a walking pace. Those eighth notes are not going to be as fast as the eighth notes that we played in the fiddle tune. So when we play these, it's a very different style, a very different feel. So make sure that you're not trying to force these. because that's not the style for those. So don't worry about trying to make that fast. It's supposed to be slow and flowing. All right, Lightly Row is our next tune. Now I'm going to show you the melody first, and then I'll go through and show you all the harmony. So here it goes, starting on open A. That's the melody, that's the top part. Now make sure when you're playing that, when you're on a particular part, let's say you're part A, then when you come down to the second line, make sure you skip part B underneath part A and go to your part. So sometimes we go right to the very next line of music, and that's usually part B's part. Okay, so here's part B. This is our harmony. Now something else about harmony is the cello in like an orchestra setting, the cellos have the harmony a lot of the times because they're the lower instruments, and it's usually the violins carrying the melodies. Okay, so make sure that you get really good at timing your harmonies in with melody if you ever want to try to be in orchestra, because if you're in the orchestra with the cello, you're going to be playing a lot of harmony. So work on that. Okay, next one, we're going to work on the can-can. Okay, so this is the melody. I'm going to do this slowly for you guys because it might be a little bit tricky on your fingers. I'll try to give y'all a better view here. Here we go. Now here is the harmony. This is part B. Now both of those parts should be repeated. So I played it through once part A, the second time part B. So y'all work on that, and now I'm going to demonstrate quickly on the harmony part, first line on the harmony part, what your tempo should be at performance tempo. Should sound something like this. Something like that, okay? So start it off very, very slow so it gets in your muscle memory, like this. And gradually speed it up. Until you can get it to. And notice how I'm keeping my fingers very, very close to the strings. So there's not a lot of lifting and replacing and all of that. That takes up time, and so therefore it takes you longer to get to the note, making your playing slower. So in order to play fast, have your fingers ready, hovered, use the brackets wherever you see them in previous songs. They're not in these because you should already know how to hold down those notes if you're going to come back to them. For example, you should be able to play open A while you're holding down an F sharp over here without playing it. So then you can just go right to it, and it's not doesn't take up a lot of time or energy. So use your fingers efficiently, do a lot of warm-ups, and practice those very slowly in the beginning. All right, I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Have fun.